what's up? I'm Rachel Starr. So, yeah, you guys, so many Ask a Schizophrenic questions this time. I'm gonna jump right in because I literally have pages of them. So, yeah, hey, what's up? I'm Rachel Starr. I'm a diagnosed years ago paranoid schizophrenia. So, yeah, let's jump into this. All right. Number one, do you feel safe talking about schizophrenia? I do, yes. As far as, I don't know what you mean by safe, like, do I feel like people are going to come out to get me, or do I feel like I could lose my job situation? Well, I mainly work freelance for myself, and then I work 2 part-time jobs, so it's like, if I lose them, I'll get another. It's not the end of the world, you guys. But yeah, I mean, if maybe I were, I don't know, something where it would matter a little bit more, I might be, but no, as far as losing my job, people saying things, I really don't care, because the kind of people that would say things, I don't need to be around those people, and the kind of job that, you know, would have a problem with it, I don't need to be around. So that's how I feel about that. So do I feel safe talking about it? Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I'm not saying that should be across the board for everybody, you know, take into account your personal situation. Do you think schizo and autism are connected? I got so many questions about this, and I'll be honest, I have no clue. I didn't go to school for psychology or anything, for entertainment and sports management. So I really don't know. From understanding it just like a very minute little bit, I honestly see a lot of correlations. But I really don't know. I mean, when my grandfather had Alzheimer's, I saw a lot of correlations between the things he was saying as his mind was slipping. I was thinking, that sounds exactly like one of my hallucinations and when I detached from reality. So I definitely think they could be connected, but do I personally know? No, I don't. Follow up on that. Do you think autism is a mental illness? I don't know enough about it. Yeah, I don't know enough about it. I've even had people tell me that, like, a lot of the things I'm describing in my videos sound like autism. So your guess is as good as mine. It is an interesting thing to think about, though. So if you have any, if you're a medical type person, or maybe you have autism, or you know more about this than me, or let's say a family member with it, and you want to comment in the section below, if you feel comfortable doing that, you know, please feel free, because yeah, I honestly don't know. Are any of your videos made up? I get this a lot. I do think it's confusing because I do work in entertainment, and by work in entertainment, the laughing, yeah. And I teach acting classes outside of here. And one thing I always tell you guys, I'm not very good at acting. No, the main thing I like to do is like funny stunt stuff, and this came second when I felt comfortable to start talking about it. Yeah, so no, none of this is made up ever at all. I do have a few videos out, you know, I Love My Wife, where I actually act in that terribly. But yeah, no, all this is me. Unfiltered, pretty much. Especially because the video is going to be long. What is your zodiac sign? I'm assuming the person was asking, dealing with schizophrenia. I'm July 15th is my birthday, Cancer, I guess, right? I don't know anything. I don't keep up with any of that. So I don't know if you think that personally applies. If that's an interesting topic, I might want to some people discuss, like if maybe like certain zodiac signs are more prone to certain disorders. I don't know. It's interesting. Can you tell the difference between a hallucination and reality? Follow-up question. How realistic then are your hallucinations? For the most part, I've learned to tell the difference. And even as a kid, when I was having, like, you know, seeing monsters and stuff, I knew they weren't real, but knowing something isn't real doesn't make it go away. And that's something you kind of have to understand. For me, like, I for the most part could tell, you know, most of my hallucinations, they kind of come in waves. So once I get a new one, I'll kind of identify it and, you know, go from there. I have had ones that, yeah, especially when I'm mentally off, when I'm mentally, like, off in general and detaching from reality, it's very hard for me to tell what's a hallucination and what's not. Once I'm fully gone, you know, there is no talking, there's no rationalizing it. Yeah. Realistic, they're very realistic. You know, it can be something as simple as I look at someone and like their face is off and I can't figure out what's off about it. A lot of times things are crooked and it drives me crazy. I was at work the other day and I keep looking at this thing and it was like crooked. And I kept getting really like, I was at my coworker, I'm like, is that crooked? Is that thing crooked? I've just never noticed it. And he's like, no, it looks normal. And I'm like, are you sure? Because it looks crooked. I'm about to go find a level or something. It was really bugging me, this thing. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Was I hallucinating? I don't know. I don't know the question. I'm probably at that point. I don't know. Have you ever tried marijuana? Do you think that it can help or hurt schizophrenia? I have actually never tried any drugs other than prescription. So I don't know. I've had friends with schizophrenia on both sides of the argument. One of them that smoked a lot and said it helped her, and another that had smoked before and it made everything worse because it made him paranoid, which is already a problem with schizophrenia. So I don't know. What I would suggest is don't get in trouble with the law. Is my suggestion to you. I honestly don't know if it helps or hurts. It's probably just like any other just like antipsychotics and antidepressants. Some work with some people and some make them worse. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna be for or against drugs, so I don't know for you all. For me, no, I have no desire to try it. I just don't. I've been through enough. Do your hallucinations compare to falling asleep hallucinations, like sleep paralysis and whatnot? Absolutely. I actually get that quite often. Freaks me out. I hate that. So from my understanding, because then I don't really know if I've had just straight up a normal half awake, half asleep hallucination, or if mine are always like sprinkled with schizophrenia. I don't know. So for my understanding of like reading descriptions and how it fits with me, I think it's very similar. I think that'd be like a cookie, and full schizophrenia is the whole feast. Maybe so. Interesting. Can you tickle yourself? So this person wrote an interesting story where they were told that that's how you tell if someone's schizophrenic or not. If they're really crazy, is that a schizophrenic, if they're really crazy, can tickle themselves. I've never heard that. I can tell you I'm very ticklish, but I can't tickle myself at all. So I'm gonna go with no on that. I've never heard that before, but no. Interesting. Well, have you ever stopped your medication? If so, then what happens? And again, you guys, I'm not a doctor, so please don't take, I'm just answering the questions given to me. That's a big problem with me, is constantly stopping my medications. I'm one of those people that they tell you don't be like, where like suddenly when I take the medication and then it kicks in and I'm like, yay, I'm better, I don't need these anymore. Even though that's what got me to that point. So yeah, I'm definitely one of those people. I've been on and off medications the entire time. With me, the antipsychotics didn't work, so there's really no negative side effects. But as far as my antidepressants, I've been on antidepressants for forever now. I'm on a very large dose of Prozac. I have to always make sure that I do stay on that, because when I do get off of it, I suddenly, within a few weeks or a month, I'll find myself getting incredibly suicidal and depressed, and yeah, it's not good. So yeah, it's not good. If you're on medication, you're probably on it to help you with something, so you really don't just go off of it unless it's under a doctor's supervision. What is a treatment that actually works? I don't know. Because every single person is different. What works for me may not work for you. I had ECT and it really helped with my depression and paranoia. Worked wonders, and I know a lot of you out there have had it and it did horrible things, because it unfortunately causes brain damage, which I also got from it. It's trial and error, which I know is like the crappiest answer ever. Medication is trial and error, and then even like getting one medication, trial and error on like, the dosage. It's a lot, and you're just gonna have to figure out what works for you, and you'll probably have to figure out what works for you multiple times, What works for me now wouldn't have worked for me, when I was 20 and things were really, really bad, because I wasn't at the point where I'm at now. Yeah. And, back then when I was seeing psychologists twice a week, psychiatrists once a week, a counselor, that would be not useless, but really pointless at this point for me now to be going that many times. So it's just going to be, and it's going to change throughout your life and throughout as you're learning to deal with your disorder. All right. What do you think causes schizophrenia? There's so many things out right now. My personal opinion, which I do understand, like I read this, like someone was talking about an article recently about bacteria in your brain, and I'm like, okay. All these different things. I personally believe that some people's brains just work differently. I think that's why my own personal family, you know, there's a lot of different mental disorders through different people. Instead of, it's not just like, oh, everyone has schizophrenia. There's a lot of different ones, and you can even see like in the history of family members, like people who had disorders and stuff. So I do think certain people's brains are just work differently. Like, that's what I think, you know. I'm not saying I'm right, that's just my own personal opinion of watching me. And it's interesting, you know, when you see, like we were talking about earlier, how autism, Alzheimer's, all these other mental disorders can be kind of like linked together, or I'm like, the mental disorder, but you should get the idea. All these kind of different brain things can be linked together, a lot of the same symptoms. What do you do if you can't afford help? Oh my God, trust me, I've been in that boat for beyond long. Because anything with mental health really is expensive. First thing though, all right, because if you're in different countries, I don't know how to help you, but if you're in America, not to get political, huge fan of Obamacare, that has made my life like 1,000 times easier. But first of all, make sure you can get your insurance, because that's going to help a lot, especially now that mental health is on the same level as everything else. So if you haven't updated your insurance, make sure you understand what you can and can't get with it. And it's awesome because like, mental health used to be like up here and normal health down here, and I could barely afford like down here, which I can't even tilt the camera down, you'll never see it. But so it was like hard enough just to get normal help and then to get, you know, help up there. So check out your insurance, what your options are with all that, because pretty much what's happened now is it's all down here. So it still sucks if you're down here, but it at least is a little bit more attainable. So like with my insurance, I looked it up and it's like, I have like my backup fund where originally it is less now, but it was I think $5,000 for me to be committed for a year through my insurance. That's what it would cost. So I kind of saved up that money. I have it in an account that my mom can access, and if Rachel goes crazy, at least there's a year that is taken care of. So that's my fail-safe plan. As far as, so let's say you don't have access to any sort of insurance or anything like that, which is understandable. Then you need to go ahead, if you're in college, if you're in some type of school system, go and talk to the counselors. They all have, schools have like disabilities offices and stuff. See what's available there. Look into free programs. I was talking with someone earlier today and they were telling me all the free programs that are available in New York City, which I'd never heard of any of these things. So if you're watching this video, I am going to assume you have internet access. So you do have, you know, a step up there. So go ahead, start Googling and see what kind of free access and or even low cost access you have in your community, city, whatever. And that's the best I can tell you on that, because it's going to be different wherever you're at. But do get help, okay? Regardless, I'd rather you go in debt, okay, getting treatment, than you commit suicide. Like, debt you can pay off, you guys. It's not that big a deal. Seriously. If you have to spend the rest of your life, you know, paying off debt, but you were able to have a life, and an awesome kick-ass life, then it's worth it. Seriously, it's worth it. So don't let something like money hold you back and you end up committing suicide, or you end up hurting, you know, others, kind of things like that. Okay? I hate these questions, you guys. This one right here, it's coming up. Will you ever be able to marry anyone? Nothing's stopping me right now. Nah, I know what people are asking when they ask for romantic questions. Will you always be paranoid that they're going to cheat on you? I don't really talk about this kind of stuff because I don't want to like give out bad vibes, because I don't really have any good relationship stories to share. So I don't want to like say my experiences, because it's not going to inspire nobody, and someone might be like, well, screw this then. If Rachel can't find nobody, I can't find nobody. Nah, no, nobody think of that. But anyway, I don't think that would be the problem. The paranoia thing, it's funny, the last person I was with, they actually were cheating on me, and I confronted them, and they were like, no, you hallucinated that. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. So it's really the opposite. But yeah, I mean, I can go out and get married tomorrow. As far as I think the question there being love though, I've been in love once and I hope to be in love again. And I do hope to get married, but I'm not gonna force it. I want to be madly in love with the person. So if I never get married, I'm perfectly fine with that because I don't want a crappy marriage or a crappy relationship. No. Let's say you see a cat. Then you walk up to the cat and you try and hold it. What happens? All right, I'm assuming in the story that the cat was a hallucination. Because if not, it's a cat and it might scratch me, but I'll try and hold it. So if I walk up and try and engage my hallucinations, biggest thing I always told people, it doesn't work that way. I mean, some of them I can walk up to. Others of them I can't. I just kind of just see them. It's hard to understand. You have to understand hallucinations aren't on like a normal realm of thinking. It's something different. And if you don't have them, then that's why. You can't really get there. And so it's hard for me to describe. So if I'm hallucinating a cat, in theory, if I went up to it, I have had my hallucinations progress, and I think like I have tactile ones too, where I get confused at what I'm touching and stuff. So in theory, yeah, I could be able to pick it up. I've never hallucinated a cat though, so not that I know of. Anyway, are voices always negative? No! Unfortunately, I think anytime with hallucinations, most of them do tend to be on the negative side of things, which sucks. No one, rarely hallucinates happy bunnies and ice cream and giving them ice cream. Oh, it's delicious. I was going to make a joke, but I pulled away from it because I'm doing good, sticking to my page. Moving on. I like a lot of mine aren't necessarily negative. They're just there, like hearing my name being called, hearing like a radio on in another room, saying ticking, clicking noises, hearing songs differently, meaning like hearing verses and songs that aren't really there, hearing different instruments and things like just, and garbly-gooks. So not necessarily negative, it's more annoying. I was telling someone that earlier today we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, my hallucinations are just really annoying at times. Like it's just kind of just annoying, like bugging me, like it bugs me. That's my overall thing is they kind of bug me sometimes. So not necessarily negative and horrible, just yeah. All right. So no, not it's negative, but I guess I don't think anyone, and I could be wrong, has like the voices and hearing hallucinations. Like, damn girl, you look good today. That's right. I've definitely never had that hallucination. That's all Rachel. Moving on. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome are you? Awesome at what? Because these are schizophrenic questions, so I'm not sure, but I like 1,000. Are schizophrenics dangerous to be around during an episode? Sometimes. When someone is having, a very bad episode, the first thing I always say is to, make sure that you are safe and that person is safe, okay? So if we're having a situation, the person's like trying to run out in the street, that's not safe. Okay? So that needs to be your goal, is to make sure you are safe and that person who's having the episode is safe. But for the most part, no. People who are having mental, episodes usually are not dangerous at all. They're usually dangerous to themselves, if anyone. My thinking's impaired and I might do something really bad. My mom, when I started getting really bad, she hid like all the pills because she was so scared I would get confused and like take a bunch of pills. Not like even like I was trying to kill myself. I was just confused, and that kind of happened. Do you think schizophrenia is a form of intelligence? I would like to think that. I think, again, it just goes back to your brain working differently. I think that can be useful in things, you see situations differently, maybe more creative. I wouldn't go as far as being like, I'm superhuman smart, because my school grades would be like, no. No. I mean, I got all A's, but it was for an easy degree, y'all. Wasn't like it was rocket science. Do other schizos make sense to you? I'm gonna say yes. Like so back to my grandfather with the Alzheimer's thing, when he would be telling me, I remember him telling me like he was lost. He was like he was in a fog and he was talking through a fog, and I got that because that's like when I get lost in my head. It's like you're there but you're not really there, and things don't make sense, you know. And so sometimes I'll have people like message me things and I totally get what they're saying, even if I've never had that hallucination before. So I definitely think that, yeah, once you've like been mentally off, yeah, you could kind of figure out where other people are coming from. What were your first symptoms? Very intrusive thoughts to hurt myself. Intrusive thoughts to do odd things. And intrusive meaning they just kind of were there and they just kind of were like, you know, do this, do this, do this. And it became this desire, whether I like really wanted it to do it or not. And I never really knew it was a bad thing, I guess, until as they escalated and got worse and worse, you know, 17, 18, they became very, you know, aggressive to hurt myself. And the hallucinations, like I've always kind of hallucinated. Just seeing monsters and stuff all the time. How do you deal with the loneliness of struggling with psychosis and feelings of being different? Oh man, that's one of the main themes of my videos is you are not alone. Whatever mental disorder, you know, whatever you want to call it, you're not alone. There are so many other people with this, and it's not that scary of a thing. I know it's scary at first to wrap your head around and what's happening, and individual instances will happen while you have this disorder that are scary, but overall, you guys, and I have to watch my words when I say this because I upset people, but it's not that big a deal. Yes, you're going to have to learn management techniques, but it's not a death sentence. Having schizophrenia isn't, well, my life sucks now, I just got to give up on all my hopes and dreams, never going to be able to do that. No, like, are you going to have to find, you know, management techniques and maybe not go the traditional route? Absolutely. Okay? That's life for everybody. Okay? Like, it is. So, no, I don't think, I got off track. I think in the beginning, yes, I felt very alone and frustrated and kind of life sucks. And I still do feel alone a lot of times, but since making these videos and on the way the internet has like progressed now and being able to find so many other people, Facebook groups, you know, people with mental disorders, like it's incredible. So if you're feeling lonely, know you're not alone. You're not the only one going through this, okay? You're not that different. You're not that weird. You're not that creepy. You're not that strange. You're not that crazy. You're not. You're okay. All right? Like, you're okay and you're going to be okay. It's not going to be easy, but nothing is. All right? So that's my thing is you're not alone. Okay? This was really interesting, you guys. I had someone who posted this comment. Do you support the Neurodiversity movement? I had to Google what that was. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. Is this a political thing? And me giving the crappy Rachel's Wikipedia from reading it 2 weeks ago answer is basically like saying, my understanding, don't try and medicate the disorder except as like different ways of thinking, I guess, kind of, and it gets more in depth, but I like the thoughts behind it. I don't really know that much about it to really say I support it or not. I don't want to get into all that. So I don't really know, but it was an interesting thing to read about. Like I never did know there was this movement. I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, interesting for you guys to check it out though, if you want to learn more about that. But no, as far as me supporting, I don't know. I'd have to research more. It's hard enough to support myself. I can't be supporting movements too here, you guys. Joking. Okay. Why do you look, sound, and express yourself like the most normal person on earth? Thank you. I mean, I guess that's like, why are you so average, Rachel? Whatever. No, okay, you guys, and I'm gonna say this like in every video now, I only make videos when I'm good. That's the reason this video is literally 2 weeks late. First the NPR article came out, so then I got flooded with a ton of other questions. Then I had multiple breakdowns. That's just this week I was like at the kitchen table crying and my mom was like holding my head and stuff. I got a lot of breakdowns. It's been really rough the past 2 weeks and it was hard for me to make to focus. I had we're sitting down going through all the different mediums to get these questions. I had to break down just because as I'm reading them, I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, what are my thoughts on that? And it was like a tidal wave, and I just broke down. So it's been a rough 2 weeks. So I only do videos when I'm okay to talk. So that's why I sound normal. You probably know lots of other people in your life that have mental disorders, but they look and sound average too. How do you deal with memory problems? Oh, 1,000 different ways. I love smartphones. First of all, I text myself. Anything I need to like take care of that day, I text myself, you know, so I have to see the little one message because nobody else texts me, so I don't have one on there. No. Text myself, notes, I write in like different color markers. I do so many different things. And I still forget it. Like, I don't know if I said this in the video or not, but it was really crazy. Me and my friend, we go to this burger place, which apparently we'd been to before. I have no recollection of it. And we go up there and there's these funny little straws cut in half, and I'm like, what? What is this? And she's like, Rachel, this is literally the exact same thing you did last time. You went to the little children's straws and you were confused at what they were, and then we couldn't find the adult straws and they're right there. And I'm like, what? I had no, like apparently I'd reacted the exact same, which makes sense. She was like, we went through all of this. And I'm like, no recollection of it. So yeah, really important stuff I write down because I know I'm not going to remember it. And then like the stuff that's not important, like the children's straws at some random burger place, just seem to fall away. I'm sure next time I'll go, I'll be like, what are these little crazy straws, you guys? What is going on here? And they're like, Rachel. Anyway. Okay. Do you read... have you read What It's Like to Be a Person with Schizophrenia from Reader's Digest? Apparently that's an article that just came out. As I said, I've been kind of sick the past 2 weeks, so I haven't really been able to read anything. My reading and writing comes and goes. So, no. Sounds like a cool article. I will have to look that up when I can. So, check it out, you guys. Reader's Digest, What It's Like to Be a Person with Schizophrenia. Y'all tell me what you think on it. What is the best way to do... Oh, I'm sorry. No, I just wrote this down crazy. What is the best way to do someone having an episode? Don't. Keep your hands to yourself. I'm not really sure what the exact wording was supposed to be on that. But what's the best thing to... Oh, maybe do for someone having an episode. Should I take them to the hospital or should they recover on their own? Goes back to make sure that, first of all, you as an outsider, you're safe. Then make sure they are safe. And... other than that, if you think that they will be okay, then let them recover alone. I wouldn't necessarily leave them alone. Maybe if they want you to leave them alone, like leave the room. But kind of keep an eye on them is my best thing. When I get really sick, like my mom is like, you know, because she worries about the kind of stuff I'll do. And usually she'll hang out with me until at least I'm settled in bed. And I'm okay. Yeah, so I definitely think make sure they're safe, and even if they say they're okay, if they're clearly not mentally all here, then if you're possible, you to stay or call someone who can maybe be aware of the situation. But of course, if anyone's in danger, call 911. Just call 911. I rather, you know, them have to go to the hospital than something else happen, something else escalate and happen. How did you learn to manage your hallucinations? And there's a follow-up to this. I can't tell my loved one, I can't get my loved one to just learn not to listen to them. Okay, so managing them and ignoring them are two different things. So, no, your loved one is never going to just ignore them. Ignoring something doesn't make it go away. And it's just like if you had someone screaming at you 24/7, it's hard to ignore them. It's really annoying. It goes back to my hallucinations earlier. I was saying they were really bugging me. You know, I'm like sitting out there, there's this one that was like a face coming out of the wall, and I was at work, and every time I went to this one area, I saw the face, and I'd be like every time it startled me, every time. Like I'm wanting to go over there and like punch the wall. I was getting so angry at this face. I know it's not real. Ignoring it was not a situation. I mean, I was ignoring it. I was going about my pops out of the wall again. I'll start cussing up in my video here, y'all. It doesn't work that way. As far as how do you start managing it, it's hard to just manage like, all right, I'm going to manage all my schizo. Start with one little thing, okay? What is an issue right now that you're having trouble with, okay? How can we do that? A simple thing for me, I have a really hard time waking up. It's really hard for me to come out of like that dream elusive state. If you look at my alarm clock, I grabbed this all the way across the room. Okay, there's like 50 little alarms that go off, all different tones and stuff to slowly kind of bring me out, because yeah, it's so hard for me to like fully come back from sleeping, I guess unconscious, like to reality. So just little things like that. Start little and just tackle each problem as it comes, and that's how you manage it, just little tackles, okay? And then eventually you got like so many little tackles going on, you don't even like realize you had a whole system set up. How often do you hallucinate? It's hard to tell. I kind of say like 90% of the time I'm hallucinating somewhat, maybe hearing something, maybe seeing something a little bit off. Very rarely does it like affect me. Like I don't think anyone can tell, or they might just think like, I don't know, I'm twitchy. But yeah, probably around 90% of the time something somewhere is happening. So for instance, right now I'm shooting this video, I do have my fan on. I always have to have like air circulating. I don't know. But it keeps like seeing it go like wompy. Like is it really wompy? No, I would probably have some problems if I had one blade slipping down. But no, it's just doing it in the corner. How do you know if you have psychosis? The best thing, you guys, if you're having any symptoms or you are scared something is wrong, please talk to a medical professional, okay? And the best way I always say to do this, write it down. Write down everything you're going to say, because if you don't, you're going to get up in there and you're going to chicken out and be like, oh, no, I was just kind of thinking weird. You know, you can be hearing 6 voices. I'm just thinking weird. Yeah, because that's what we do. That's what I do. I like hate, you know, at this point I'm like, all right, yo, just read it because I wrote it all down. But no, like write it down so you don't forget anything, so you don't chicken out, even if you just have to hand them a sheet of paper. I know it's scary, but if this is bothering you, if this is affecting your chance at life, then you need to do something about it, because that's not fair to yourself, okay? Stand up for yourself. Is it schizophrenia if the voices sound like a speaker? I assume you mean like a I guess like a hall monitor speaker, school speaker. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it's schizophrenia, but it's definitely, I would say, hallucination. Like I said, mine I hear is like a radio a lot of times. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a voice. Some people hear voices as whispers, some as like screaming. Like I said, I hear my mom saying Rachel a lot. Like it's in my mom's voice. It's weird. And she could be like nowhere around, like not even nowhere close to me, but I'll hear it's like her voice. It's odd. And I'll be at home and hear her saying my name and she won't like be home, and I'm like, it's so weird. I'm like, are you here or not? What's going on? Okay, no, I'm just hallucinating. All right, moving on. We cool. That's also my excuse when she does want to get my attention. I'm like, I don't want to help. So I'm like, what? I thought it was real. Kidding. I'm helpful. Have you ever drawn your hallucinations? Not really, no. I can't draw. Like I've kind of done like little doodles. But no, I can't draw. That's my answer. I can't. Any of this stuff you guys see in the background, my little brother did this. He's a drawer, so no, not me. Y'all would be so sad, like, oh, okay. Do you have violent thoughts? Yes, all the time. Towards myself. Well, first of all, I am into fighting. But it's not like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go bust that person's face open. Because usually I get my own face busted open. But yeah, about hurting myself. And I gotta keep that in check. I'm proud to say I haven't hurt myself, and I'm not really sure exactly when, but at least a year or two at this point. But it's a constant thing that is always there. It's definitely a constant desire and drive inside me and push to hurt myself, and like to commit suicide. Not like hurt myself as in things. I honestly think I think everybody has this self-destruct switch in their brains, and for no reason it should ever be hit, but some of us, our switch got hit. I don't know why, it's just some of us, I literally think it somehow magically got flipped up on us, and it is like that. And I had a breakdown at the gym twice now, and it's like everything is just like exploding inside my head, and it's just everything. I want to kill myself. I want just right that moment, and I have to like get out of the situation, calm down, it's not that big a deal, like, but in that moment it's like whole like meltdown central. So that is, yeah, what I would say is violent towards myself. How do you come out of an episode? I just do. I just kind of slowly come out of it. There's nothing that brings me out of it. Usually I'm talking in third person to myself. That's one of the signs that I'm getting sick, is I start talking like, okay, Rachel. So, you know, just breathe, Rachel, just walk, Rachel, that kind of thing. Excuse me. And I'll just kind of come out of that eventually. It helps for me to like get in bed, and sometimes like I'll fall asleep, and that'll kind of help. But yeah, it's just a slow progression out. Slowly my thoughts will start to make more sense. Do your voices become so loud they give you a headache? I get a lot of migraines. I don't know if necessarily it's called from hallucinations. I can't say that I've necessarily had. I feel like I'm not saying it doesn't happen for anybody. I could easily see that happening though. But for me personally, I can't think I've ever had a hallucination cause a headache. What do you do to help motivate yourself? A lot of caffeine, you guys. Like, I know, a lot. People always are fussing at me about the amount of Red Bull I drink. It's hard. It's hard. If I'm not careful, I'll stay in bed probably for like 2 days straight. So yeah. Lots of caffeine and just forcing myself out of bed. Does it get easier? Yes. Yes, it does. It's going to take work to get easier though. It's going to take work of, like I said, tackle each little thing. Figure out, you know, what do you want out of life? And it doesn't even have to be your whole life. What do you want out of life tomorrow? What do you want out of life like this next month? What do you want, and what do you need to do to get to that? Yeah, so it can it get easier? Absolutely. For me, yes. And it's funny, not that schizo got easier, but my ability to manage and handle it got so much stronger that, yeah, the kind of stuff like I deal with now, like looking back, like where I was having meltdowns at age 22, I'm like, it's nothing. Oh my God, what was I freaking out about? Like, come on, I juggle that stuff like, yeah, whatever, today, it's nothing. But you get stronger and stronger at managing. So, I don't think my schizo got worse. I just, you know, I bulked up. So yes, it can get easier, I think. What is the difference between schizoaffective disorder and versus schizophrenia? This is a Google, you guys. You guys be busting out some. I ain't got no doctorate. They're really hand in hand. I think schizoaffective, and I could be wrong, is like schizophrenia minus the hallucination. But maybe, I don't know, Google that. I know they're very close, but they're not exactly the same thing. Yeah, that's a Google. That's not me, y'all. What is the best way to manage taking new medications, especially antipsychotics? Okay, so best thing you can do is, if you have a smartphone, track your symptoms and stuff. This is gonna sound weird. I have a period tracker. Well, most girls do, or you should, on your phone that helps you track that. But what it does is you can actually like click on symptoms you're having, so I apply it for my mental stuff. You know, what medication I'm on, what symptoms I'm having, you know, and when do I have a breakdown, things like that. And it's kind of cool because you can like see like you know, pass through months and scroll through. I even write down different hallucinations that I'm having. You know, I'll do it like at night before I'm going to bed if I've, you know, had a breakdown. Like, so if you're starting anything new, I definitely suggest some way of like kind of just journaling it, something like little like on a phone you can just put, and that'll help you track whether or not like that medication is helping you get better. Because it is difficult to tell like 4 weeks in, because then you're like, maybe it's working, I can't remember how I felt before. So yeah, definitely for me helps to kind of track it. Other than that, you know, weigh the side effects versus what you're getting out of it. And be careful, you know, make sure you're taking exactly as you're supposed to. And not taking extra, you know, other stuff. No. What are some of the techniques you use to calm yourself when you feel you are getting sick, assuming psychotic? I have to get out of the situation. So if something is causing it, like causing me to kind of break apart, I got to get out of the situation, step away, you know, chill out, go find like a way to get out of whatever's happening. I got to get myself safe. All right. Usually my biggest thing is when I start to go crazy, it's ideally get home, get in bed, and I just post it up in bed until everything passes. That's the safest place for me to be. Not even like in the house, in bed, away from the computer, in the bed. You know, read, play, roll around the bed, whatever, get in the bed. Other than that, if it's a situation where I can't, I try and get by myself. Or if I'm in an environment where I can tell someone, hey, I'm really having a hard time, can you watch me? I do that a lot. I do have a few coworkers that, you know, I feel comfortable enough. I rarely have to ask that, but yeah. Or I rarely have to ask that anymore, but yeah. Do you suffer from racing thoughts? How do you deal? Yes. That's my hardest thing, is like racing thoughts. If you've ever had them, it's just like your thoughts are just shooting through your head so fast. It's like, you can't control them, and it's just like you just like, man. I don't know how I deal with them. I just kind of, you know, usually that's a situation I try not to act impulsively. I try not to freak out. Sometimes it doesn't work so well, like this week, but whatever. We won't go into that. I don't really have any good, I just kind of do your best to like take yourself out of the situation, calm down. Because I know, and it's hard, especially if you have anxiety and the racing thoughts, it's hard to think straight because all this stuff is just flooding you, and it's going to be a person-to-person, figure out what works for you basis. My hallucinations, from another person, not me, tend to pop up in my face, and I'm flooded with fear. Do you experience that? Yeah, I have that all the time where I'll just look and there'll be like something. I don't know so much I have fear as it's just a startle. That's a hard one. I mean, get used to your hallucinations. You know, actually think about it. Like take a moment and think about it. Get used to seeing it if you see the same ones over and over. Okay? Desensitize yourself to that. I've had to do that with a lot of mine. That might help you. I'm not saying it will, I'm just saying it might. Do you ever have moments of extreme energy or anxiety where you can't stop moving around? Yeah. 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 You know, I'll just kind of be bouncing that nervous energy. People are like, hey, dancing. But no, yeah, you know, really, yeah. Usually when I get like that, I'll get like really like hyper and just like full of energy, and then usually means like I'm heading towards like an extreme crash the next day. How do you manage your negative symptoms? Lethargy, antisocial feelings. Oh man. Like, so I went back to, I said, drink a lot of Red Bull. I try and always be up to something, give myself options. I always have goals and things I want to do. You guys saw in my, or maybe you did in my past videos, I just learned how to surf. That's been like on my to-do list for forever, and I was so excited to actually do it in Hawaii. I'm always setting little goals, like little things to make me happy, you know, reward yourself. I went to Deadpool opening night just because, by myself, because I really like Deadpool. And I was like coming home like to sleep, and then I was like, you know what, let me see if there's any even tickets. Like, I don't know how sold out this is going to be. And the movie theater was pre-packed, but it wasn't sold out. It was like a 11 o'clock showing or something. I was like, yeah, I got in. So yeah, you know, get yourself excited in life and something, no matter how stupid it is. If you're like, Rachel, I want to learn nunchucks, go for it. Okay, they're awesome, they're badass. You know, try and get yourself excited. Antisocial is hard for me. Because I don't do well at meeting new people. I get really nervous, and it's hard for me to meet new people, and I have to force myself a lot of times to go out, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So I'm not the best on making friends in antisocial situations, or me being antisocial. I have my set core group of friends, and they're really awesome, and so I feel very safe like meeting up with them. But anytime I have to go like interact with new people, that's always something. All right. When you see, do you see words differently? Yes. Mostly my word problems started after my ECT treatments, and I used to describe it as like, I would say I had to relearn how to read and write, but not really. It was more like, I guess, like dyslexia. Like the words were all jumbly, and I had to kind of like figure them out. Like, okay, what does this say? You know, so I've definitely had that problem so much where the words like the letters move around or crinkly crossed, and same thing with math. So I don't like math. I can be like adding 2 plus 3, but somehow it turns into an 8 and it turns into, you know, and I'm like, and people are like, how did you screw this up? And I'm like, I don't know, I checked it 10 times. I don't know what happened, you guys. So yeah, like I said, I don't know if that's so much with me, the schizophrenia, the brain damage, or a little of the both. As far as I know, I don't think it happened before I got the ECT, but maybe I'm just not, I don't have much of a memory, so maybe I'm not remembering correctly. How do you deal with disassociation? So disassociation, pretty much disconnecting from things, that's pretty bad with me. I get very much like, sometimes I feel like I'm not real. Like I don't feel connected to my body. I don't know. I don't really know how I deal with this. Like sometimes I snap out of it and I'm okay, and other times I'm not. I just kind of comes in waves. So I don't really know how to undo it. Sometimes I just feel like I'm like a shell of a person, and I'm like talking myself through the day and like just trying to feel something. And I don't know. I don't know. So I'm sorry, I don't have good answers for a lot of these. I don't know. Do you ever get moments of pure irritation and rage? How do you calm down? Again, get yourself out of the situation. That's the best thing I can tell you, is get yourself whatever's causing it. If it's a person, get away from that person. I mean, and if it's a family member, be like, look, every time I'm around you, this happens. So when it starts, I'm gonna have to leave you. It's one thing I joke about at work. I'm like, if someone's gonna go off on me, I'm gonna walk away. You can holler all you want, you can call me all the names you want, but I don't have to listen to it. Okay? Like you can berate me, you can call me stupid. Great, go ahead, but I'm gonna walk over here. I'm gonna leave you standing here screaming in the middle of the room looking stupid. Okay? And believe me, I've done that. I've actually been like fussed at before, like, Rachel, you can't just walk off. And I'm like, if they're gonna talk to me like that, that's what happens. But seriously, no one has the right to talk down to you and stuff. And if you know it's going to put you in a bad situation, then yeah, when someone's going off and things like that, leave. Okay? Get out of the situation. And for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's life or death, because it's going to send me into like a suicidal thought mentality that's not worth it over someone hollering at me for something stupid. Then, no, it's not worth it. So get yourself out of whatever the situation is that's causing the rage, that's causing that extreme irritation. All right. Does it get harder to read and write some days than others? Yeah, I don't know why. I guess it's just like my fluctuating brain. Some days I literally can read like a whole internet article and be fine, and other days I like can barely read the title of it, or I'll read it wrong. That happens all the time, where I like just read things wrong on Facebook, like people's statuses. I'm like, oh crap. I like comment on it and then I realize my comment doesn't really make sense. I'm like, oh, I thought it was so clever, but I read it wrong completely. Like I'll realize this the next day when someone's like, what? Oh, dang. So yeah, I don't know. Like I've had days where I can like knock out like three articles on USA Today. I'm like scrolling. I'm like, yeah, look at me learning, connected. And then other days I can't even open the app. I can't read like little things. That's why answering emails is very difficult for me, especially people who write like paragraphs. Like if I just open up an email and it's just paragraphs, like it's like my brain shuts down. I can't handle it. It's just all these words. I can't. Whew, we're on the tail end, you guys. Like nobody watching. What is your experience mixing meds? Don't mix meds. Don't mix meds. Don't mix your meds. Only do it under doctor supervision, because this stuff, you guys, if you are messing with this stuff, it's changing brain chemistry. This is not like stuff to play around with. Don't mix your meds. Doctors, you know, a lot of times they'll have to kind of find the perfect thing, but don't do it on your own. Please be very careful with that kind of stuff, because you don't want to end up frying your brain. If you're having a mental disorder, you know, you're already trying to find ways to deal with. Don't make it worse. Okay. So no, I'm actually pretty good about not mixing meds. Like I never really did that, except for when the doctors, told me to. Do you find yourself being antisocial? Sorry, I guess this is kind of follow up from that other one. Yeah, I'm real bad. Like I'll realize suddenly I haven't talked to people in like 4 days. Again, another reason I moved back home with my parents is that I was kind of just going inside myself. What are your thoughts on sterilization and the likelihood of schizos to give birth to children with other mental disorders? I don't think, I mean, political questions, you guys. I mean, no, I don't think people should be sterilized. No, I don't think that. I don't think that's a horrible thing. As far as giving birth to children with schizophrenia, I forget what the percentage is. I've heard like different, like, conflicting things. Like, some people say it's really common, or like 50%, and then others say it's like 10%. I don't really know what it is. I think, for me personally, if the person I was with really wanted, you know, biological children, I'm really big for adoption. I'm not against it, but it would be something like, it'd be a big deal we'd have to talk about. But it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think it'd be a big thing to acknowledge that I might have a child and I might, you know, they might have schizophrenia because of me. But you guys, it's not that big a deal. That goes back to me saying, you know, and I do think it'd be okay that if I had them, that I feel I would be, you know, pretty equipped to help with that. So I don't know. I think it's a person by person basis. Like, as far as like the comfort of having a child with schizophrenia, I don't know. That would be something me and my significant other would have to like deeply talk about, and what they wanted, and understanding fully what we were getting into. So I don't know. I feel bad when I don't, like, I have bad answers, you guys. I'm really sorry. Have you ever been diagnosed with bipolar? Yeah, I've been diagnosed with lots of different things, dysthymia and stuff like that. I think it's just whatever, you know, you have things like that. All these mental disorders are so close. So yeah, I've been diagnosed with different things. I always go with schizophrenia because I had testing done, and the testing said paranoid schizophrenic. And I've been told that the most by doctors. So that's why I always personally identify with schizophrenia, even though I have had other doctors say different things. But yeah, I've had, like I said, a few different ones. I had one psychologist who's like, you're bipolar, and then the psychiatrist who I would meet the next day was like, oh, you're schizophrenic, and I'm like, okay, you guys, let's decide here, because you kind of got to work together. They didn't decide. They really didn't care what each other said. It's hard to share with people that I have a mental disorder, and I'm afraid to meet new people and them learning about my depression. Any suggestions on not caring so much what people think? Oh man, I don't know. I mean, so I think I give the vibe that I don't care what people think because I'm awesome. And to a degree I don't. Certain situations, I don't care what people think, okay? People commenting, people sending me mean emails, I don't know you. I don't care. You know, but I did, you know, I still get my feelings hurt about things. I don't know. Take it day by day and understand that the people who think bad things, or let me put it, people who say or actually say bad things, you don't need in your life. As far as worrying about what they think, so this is the best example I got. Alright, so I was really having a hard day once. My mental disorders, I knew I was acting weird. Like, sometimes I twitch and stuff, and like I twitch and I can feel myself twitching, but I can't stop the twitching. And I like just kind of get like, I do like weird movements, and I can feel my body doing it, but I can't stop it. It just kind of does it. So I'm having one of those days, and I'm in line at my favorite sub shop, I go to all the time, and I love these subs. And I'm sitting there, and I'm in line, I'm freaking out, because I'm like, man, this lady's gonna think I'm so weird, like, crap, I'm having this whole breakdown, and just get out of line, get back in my car, just go home, and forget this, you know, I'm just, what is this sub lady gonna think of me? And then it occurred to me, I don't even know her name. So here I am, freaked out, what is this sub lady gonna think of me? I don't even know who she is, yo. I don't know her name. I can't tell you anything about her other than she's working there, you know, a couple of years, because I've been coming here a couple of years. That's all I can tell you about Sub Lady. Why does it matter what she thinks? I mean, why should I care? I don't even know her name. So that's one thing, is when I start to worry, I guess, when I'm in public, what do people think if I'm acting odd or whatever? It's like, I don't even know who these people are. F them. Seriously, F them. You don't know me. I'm a badass. I had to relearn how to read and write. Do you know what I've been through? Fuck you. I'll say it. So that's kind of thing. Like, you know, if you're really worried about it, think about all the things you've done that they have no clue of. Like, you're a badass. Don't worry about them. Anyway, sorry for cursing, Mom. But yeah, that's kind of my thought on that. And my last question, which has been brought up a lot recently, I think between the NPR article and some other things. And they actually, this was one of the things they said to me, and I have had it come up throughout the years. Do you think that your stunt show, doing silly stunts and stuff like cracking the eggs with your boobs and things like that, do you think it takes away from your message of schizophrenia? I don't have a message. Okay? I don't. I just, like with my stunt videos, I don't have a message. I just do whatever I want. So that's it. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I'm not trying to save anyone but myself. I do these videos for me. Like I said, I originally started because when I was Googling stuff for schizophrenia, the only thing I could find were like horror movies, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and medical journals. And I just felt like a freak, and I felt so alone, and I didn't want anyone else to feel that way. That's the theme of them. You're not alone. So no, I could see where some people think, well, yeah, she says all this stuff about schizophrenia, but then she's over here acting like an idiot doing this. I don't really care what you think. I make these videos for me. Whether everyone watches or no one watches, I don't care. It's me, and I'm not like some type of little, like, you know, I'm not one thing or another. If you look around my room right now, you'd be like, there's so much weird stuff in here. Like, here's my... Hey guys. My Spider-Man costume. It's a legit Spider-Man costume. Yeah, I got my Spider-Man costume over here. I got my MMA stuff. I got nunchucks everywhere. Like, I'm a lot of different things, as you are. Okay? So, yeah, I don't have a message. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I don't care. What I am just trying to say is that, you know what? I'm not alone. You're not alone. Alright. So I'm Rachel Starr. I know this was a freaking long video. If you made it this far, you deserve a high five right there. Right there. If we're on the phone, if you're on your phone watching this, just little finger. Little finger. Let's touch fingers. There you go. Alright. Good job. Hope I hit all your questions. There was a lot. I got a whole pile of pages on the floor now. But thank you for watching. I'm Rachel Starr, and I am out. Yes, you can send me more questions, but you guys gotta give me a break for a little bit. This took me long enough. I can't talk at God. Alright. You guys are awesome, and bye.